These 6 kids from all around the Atlanta metro area and across the state of Georgia, as well as 2 more infrequent participants in Prodigy, joined a cast of 6 Prodigy regulars to try to advance to the PBT stage. But they first had to survive a qualifying round that presented the most challenging scoring environment these kids have ever faced on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Live on tape from Brunswick Zone Roswell in Roswell, Georgia, it's Prodigy Bowlers Tour, a series of unofficial, informal, and impromptu after-league challenge matches, all in an effort to simulate tournament competition in an open play environment. The mission of Prodigy Bowlers Tour is to celebrate junior bowling while we elevate junior bowlers. This is Season 1, Episode 29. Good luck with that. Our field of 14 bowled a 2-game qualifier to winnow the field down to the top 5. Our bowlers were presented with one of the 2016 Junior Gold patterns. Which one of the Junior Gold patterns from last year? Well, we really couldn't say for sure, since the only indication was the name of the pattern that was programmed into the lane machine. It just said Junior Gold 2016. But judging from the ball reaction, we think it was the Junior Gold short oil pattern. But what made the scoring conditions so challenging on this day was that just before qualifying began, these same lanes were used for our morning spare clinic. And with all the plastic and urethane balls in use while shooting spares for 2 hours, there was a ton of carry down. So it appeared that the balls were hooking early, but then flattening out in the last 20 feet of the lane. Needless to say, it made for some of the lowest scores we've ever seen in a Prodigy qualifier. We had 2 games bowled under 100 by players who have on their resumes actual tournament wins. So rather than embarrass our players by showing the scores they shot, let's just meet the 5 players who qualified for our stepladder finals. In the number 5 position is Logan F. Everyone who watches Prodigy knows Logan. He's one of the regulars and a 7-time winner. Here in our opening match, he'll face our number 4 seed, Megan. Now, Megan grew up in the junior bowling program at Brunswick Zone Roswell and went off to college this past season. But she's home for the summer. She's still 19, so we consider her of junior bowling age, even if she is now bowling on her college team. The winner of that first match will advance to face our number 3 seed, Charlie. If you've seen Charlie on our show, you know what kind of scores he's capable of bowling, even on a sports shot. Well, his qualifying round consisted of a pair of games in the 160s. That should give you some idea of just how challenging the scoring environment has been for all the players. The winner of that match will advance to bowl our number 2 seed, Brandon. Little B is looking for his first individual win on Prodigy Bowlers Tour, and he's hoping today is the day. His high game in qualifying, a 186, was enough to put him in second place after the first game. And the winner of that semifinal match will bowl for the championship against our faux tournament leader, who's making his first appearance on Prodigy Bowlers Tour, Jake, who bowls out of Brunswick National Lanes in Augusta, Georgia, a 2.5-hour drive across the state. Jake bowled the only 200 game in the qualifying round. He's been a fan of Prodigy for a while, and here he is sitting in the catbird seat in his very first time on the show. He'll try to become the first non-Brunswick Zone Roswell player to come into our house and win. He's 1 game away from doing it. And that's our field today on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. And in our very first match, it's 5 seed Logan against 4 seed Megan. Megan, who grew up in our junior bowling program at Brunswick Zone Roswell, She's gone off to college, but she's home for the summer, and we're glad she's here today. And that one crosses over, and she leaves the 2-4-5. Now you're going to see some crazy spares left today. These lanes are unbelievably difficult. You notice that her ball started hooking almost as soon as she laid it down on the floor. And that one doesn't come back. So that's the challenge that these kids are facing today. I have never seen them struggle like they struggled today in qualifying. Just one game over 200. And I can count backwards from there, and there was only, let's see, maybe three other games over 175. It was crazy. Well, you see what I mean? Logan in the pocket, and that ball just deflects. Well, this is what's going on. We've got what appears to be short oil, but the lanes are hooking early, and then they're not finishing because of all the plastic equipment that was used in our spare clinic earlier. So it's a real challenge. And Logan returns the favor with an open of his own, so they're even after the first frame. And honestly, I'm not sure what the solution is. I do think they should probably be playing out by the edge of the lane. I think that's where you're going to get the best reaction. All right, there's a good ball. Logan gets that one to finish just enough to tilt out the 5-pin. But that's the problem. Sometimes the ball just hooks early, but then it just flattens out on the last third of the lane. That's one of the best balls I've seen all day long. Right in the pocket, but a ringing 7 for Megan. She goes to her spare ball to shoot at this cross lane. And makes short work of the 7-pin. This is pretty much what we saw for 2 games of qualifying. And it didn't really seem to matter much what line they played. Some of the kids tried to move deep inside. Others played out by the edge. Or if not at the edge, at least out by about the first arrow. That's where I saw the best reaction, but even that was spotty. Crosses over, trips out the 4, and beggars can't be choosers. When the lanes are like this, Megan will take that Brooklyn strike. And now Logan up on the right lane. And you see what happens. The ball just starts to hook early. That is a pretty weak ball he's throwing, too. Crosses over, leaves the 5. Under most circumstances, I would say this is an easy spare, but there has not been a spare that was easy today. And he almost hooks by the 5-pin. But he converts it, and so the match is even. The bowling center filled up today. I've not seen the bowling center this busy in a long while, so you'll see people open bowling next to us on both sides. There's a solid strike for Logan.
And he would love to be able to repeat that. That's been one of the difficulties these kids have faced today, is getting any kind of a string of strikes going. You might get one here and there, but strings of strikes have been very rare. And look at this. Megan comes up light. Looks like she's going to leave maybe the bucket or the 3, 5, 6. But the pin action has been so strange today. The head pin comes off the wall and knocks out the 3, and now she's got to split the 5, 6. Got to fit the ball right between them. And that did not happen. So Megan is open in the 4th. You know, even easy spares were difficult. Difficult spares were next to impossible. And that's crossing over, and she gets another trip 4. And you can tell by her facial expression, she's like, I don't care how it fell. It fell. I will take it. So Logan now with a golden opportunity to try to get a double. But that one drifts high. And now he's got a split. The 3-10. It's as if we're bowling in a haunted house today. And that just gets a little too much of the 3-pin, won't deflect into the 10, and so Logan gives an open frame right back to Megan. And the match once again is even. It seems that no one can pull away. See, that ball looked like it was trying to work its way back, but that last third of the lane, it just kind of sits there. It doesn't want to come up. And now he's got the 2, 7, 8. And spares like this, it's like your guess is as good as mine. Throw it and hope. Well, that's one way to do it. Normally, you'd want that ball a little on the right side of the 2 to drive it into the 7 and have the ball take out the 8. But again, as I mentioned, unusual pin action today. He gets it anyway. Look at this. Oh, my goodness gracious. That's the 2-8-9. When have you ever seen the 2-8-9 left? And now she will go for it. And makes a pretty good pass at it, but she's open again. That's 3 opens in 6 frames, and she's still very much in this match. A high hit, breaks up the split, leaves the 10 pin. Now here's one you would think would be a gimme. A left-hander shooting the 10 pin. Well, it should be. But no. There are no gimmies today. So that's her 4th open in 7 frames, and she's still in this match. Logan goes Brooklyn and gets a strike, and that may be the best way to get one today. And Now you would think if he could put another strike on top of that one and catch a double here late in the game, that might be enough. Because catching up is difficult. But that one goes right in the heart. Breaks up a split, and now Logan's got the 6-10 to contend with. Spooky, huh? It's a good conversion of the 6-10. And so Logan maintains his 23-pin lead. Now it's getting late. Megan's got to put together a double, maybe 3 in a row, to try to catch up. Crossing over, just ticks a piece of the head pin and still strikes. That ball is hooking almost as soon as it hits the floor. I watched the guy run the lanes this morning. He even checked the oil level, so I know the machine had oil in it. There's a strike for Megan, and with that double, she does make it a match here. Because with Logan having 2 frames left, and opens being so plentiful, you don't know. He might just back up. Right through the nose. Leaves another 6-10. Boy, we've seen some of those. These crossover strikes that we've seen today, we've seen a lot of those. I suspect we'll see more as the day progresses. Logan needs this to maintain his lead. And he gets it. So Logan takes an 11-pin lead into the 10th. Megan can shoot 184 if she gets 3 strikes in the 10th. Logan is going at a 175 pace. He would need to double. He would need all 3 strikes to shut Megan out. 2 strikes and 9 would lock him into no worse than a tie. Anything less, Megan can still beat him. Oh my goodness gracious. The 4, 7, 9, 10. Look at this. This is how you leave it. And check out his reaction. He can't believe it. This is almost comical. If it wasn't so frustrating for the players, it would be funny. Gives it a good run, but 8 out, and that is a 159. And Logan hands the lead to Megan in the 10th frame. Megan needs a mark to secure the win. She crosses over and leaves what has to be the simplest spare, the 5-pin. But as I've said before, there are no spares that are gimmies today. She must make this or Logan wins. Oh, and she pulled it. And Logan takes it at the very end of the match. Get a load of her reaction. Megan is not a happy camper. It's Logan who's moving on to match 2 right after this.
You got the confidence. you got the right attitude. Now you can just add kick for part of the nutrition you need. Kick is complex carbs for the energy you want, working together with vitamin B1 and iron. Kick is in the Kellogg cereals you already love. Deep down, you've got what it takes. And together with Food Energy by Kick from Kellogg, you'll feel like anything is possible.
Well, obviously, no spare is a sure thing on this crazy condition. And an unforced error by Megan in the 10th hands Logan the match 159 to 151 and sends Logan on to match 2, where he is set to face Charlie. It seems like just about every time these two go head-to-head, there are fireworks, and I would expect this match to be no different. Being the higher seed, Charlie had the choice of starting lanes, and he said he wants to finish first, so Logan will start the match. Now, as we look down at the ball return, I see 8 balls on the ball return. There's 3 down below the ball return, and that's 11. So let's add those 5 to it over there on the table. So there's 16 bowling balls and 2 players. So I don't think there's any chance we're going to run out of bowling balls this match. And that's a good thing, I suppose. Logan finds a pretty good line on that ball, but again, it just doesn't quite want to face up at the end and finishes a little flat, and he's got a weak 10 pin to start. It's really strange seeing these kids who they have more hand in the ball than a lot of adults I know, and they just can't get that ball to finish. But there's a spare in the first for Logan, so a good start. And now we get our first look at Charlie today. Clad in a pink shirt. I'm liking it. Charlie playing farther outside than the other players, and that's been the better line most of the day. But you saw what happened there. That ball just hooked immediately. Crosses over. He leaves the 5-9, a very choppable spare for a right-hander. And now he's got to think a bit about how to play this. This is a pretty routine spare, but see, he's moved in to play it and nearly hooked by. But he's got it. And so these two both trade spares to start. It's a real chess match when you think about it, because even the simplest spares like that, you've got to really think about what's the best way to shoot this. Maybe the best way would be to just blindfold yourself and throw it hard and hope. That's a good ball right there. Boy, he put a little extra juice behind that one and just stuffed it. All right, Logan. See if you can stay with him. That one is left off his hand, and he gets 9 out of it. You can tell just looking at his facial expression that he's like, I don't have any idea how to play this condition. I'm not sure there is a way to play this condition. It reminds me a bit of the U.S. Women's Open that was held in Reno a few years ago. They set up a pair of lanes outdoors, and then there was a dust storm that blew in that afternoon. And all the girls were forced to throw their plastic balls on the show, and I don't remember the scores exactly, but I don't think anybody shot over about 160. We may see something like that today. The lane machine was broken last week, but they told us that it was fixed this week. Look at that. He goes to a more aggressive ball, moves left, throws it a little farther right. It looked like it tried to hook a little bit at the beginning, but then the last half of the lane, it just rolled out, went straight. That's what makes this condition so challenging. And he put that ball right where you would want to put it. But because it wasn't still hooking at the very end, it just went through the 1-2-4-7 and left the 7. Boy, I don't know really how you would contend with this. Maybe Charlie's got the answer. He didn't show much of an answer during qualifying. He got here on the strength of a couple of 160 games. You saw how early that ball hooked. Goes high. He leaves the 3. Breaks up the split. Well, this is what makes spares so important in our game. When strikes are precious and few, spares become super valuable. And Charlie gets one there in the 3rd frame and maintains a 16-pin lead. We think the reason the back end is so flat like this is because we held our spare clinic on these lanes earlier in the day, and we had about 15 kids bowling on them with plastic balls. Well, that didn't look all that different from the shot he threw in the 2nd frame that set flush in the pocket. But this time it drifts a little high, and Charlie's got the 310, the baby split. They just have no miss area. It's almost like playing on a flat pattern. Actually, it's more difficult than a flat pattern because usually when you're bowling a flat pattern, at least you've got some back end that you can depend on to get the ball to face up. Charlie moves left. He's got his polyester PVA Teen Masters ball. Shouldn't hook much. And didn't. But he misses on the right. So this is what we're gonna see today. It's a different kind of entertainment for sure. If you were expecting to see high scores and lots of strikes, it ain't happening here. Look at this. That ball that Logan just threw, that's the kind of ball that you would want to get it to scoot through the heads and then take a left turn at the end, but there's no left turn to be had. But he gets too much 5 on the 2nd ball and fails to pick up the 5-7, so another open. This can be so frustrating for a player. You just don't know what to do. There's really nothing you can do. I'm almost surprised he hasn't gone to his bag for his plastic ball, except I'm not sure. I don't think he still carries it. Oh, there's a good shot. Yeah, just do that. Easier said than done, huh? Yeah, normally when the lanes get just completely unplayable, sometimes the best bet is just go with the frozen rope. Move right, pull out your plastic ball if you have one, or a urethane ball that's got like a pancake weight block. I throw a Storm mix for my spares. That would be about as close to a plastic ball as I'll have in my arsenal. Well, that's another one that Charlie thought was pretty good when it came off his hand. But it just hooks about 20 feet down the lane. It starts making a move. Crosses over, though. He'll take it. And you can see the pin action. Pushed one out in front of the rake. And so now we've got deadwood in one of the gutters. Somebody will have to go down there and get that. Oh my goodness gracious. You'd think that one was going to set, but it finished hard, and now here we have a gentleman who is going to go move that deadwood out of the way. So while we have a moment, let me just go through the other finishers in qualifying. In 6th place, Big Logan M. You've seen him before on Prodigy. Mark, who came in to visit from Junction Lanes. Tristan, another visitor, and of course you know Christian, who has been on Prodigy a number of times. Will, one of our JVs who's aging into the varsity this fall. Dakota, who appeared last week and showed us some trick shots. Savannah, who's been on the show before when we were at Brunswick Zone Austell. Everybody's favorite youngster, Hunter, and Langston, who bowled one game and said, "I've had enough." Langston may have been the smartest one of the group. All right, Charlie now facing the big four, and he'll just take two. Hope for something to bounce out. But no miracle today. The good news is when you leave splits and you get opens on a condition like this, you know that your opponent is probably going to have more opens as well, so it's not disastrous like it would be in a higher scoring environment. Logan really threw that one well, but my goodness gracious, that ball that he just threw, it's a little too aggressive. That's just going to hook too soon. So he's tried weak equipment, he's tried stronger equipment, he's tried playing in, he's tried playing up the second arrow. About the only thing he hasn't tried yet is out by the gutter. I still think that might be the best play. But you see he got that one out to about the 6th or 7th board, and it almost hooked past the 3-pin, so who knows? Haven't seen anybody move way left and try to loft the gutter cap yet, but it's early. Maybe someone will. Logan still goes through his normal pre-shot routine. That's a good idea. He nearly gets one in the Brooklyn side, but leaves a 6-pin. There's only 1 pin separating these two. You would think that somebody would have run away with it, but we've had 1 strike out of each bowler so far. And a spare on the 6-pin. frustrating. I know it's frustrating for them. It's frustrating for me too. I like to see these kids succeed and show off their talents, which are considerable. Charlie threw that one well. He got that one out to the spot that he thought would bring it back, but it just flattened out at the end. And now he's got another difficult spare. One of the things about bowling on a hard condition is you leave all kinds of junk that invites chops. Here's the 1-2-4. And he takes care of it. I beg your pardon, he had the 8-pin back there too. Sleeper hiding in the back, but he covers them all. And now with just 3 frames remaining, just a pin between them. What's a pin between friends anyway? That looked about like that ball he threw in the second frame. It got out there to that spot, but it didn't hold at the end. It just kept coming. Lucky to get 9. As high as that one was. And with this adorable young girl on the lane next to us, Charlie decides to just let her go. I think he senses that every spare is critical at this juncture, so he's going to let her shoot at her spare. And now she's using the bumpers. Maybe we should be using the bumpers. Maybe that's what's wrong. All right, Charlie for the 3-pin. Gets it. And now Logan back up in the 8th frame now. Stays with that weak ball. Comes up a little light. Leaves the 2-5-8. It's clusters like these that will make you pull your hair out on a condition like this. You just don't know how to play it. All your normal lines are kind of out the window. Nothing's working. And Logan, now that I think about it, he hasn't been carrying plastic in a while. Oh my goodness. Well, he could have used a plastic ball on that shot. Well, again, there's no guarantee that Charlie's going to mark in his next 2 frames. The way this game has been going. So you just got to hold your head up and make the best of it. There you go. It's a solid pocket hit and a strike in the 9th for Logan. Charlie's lead is 16. But his uncertainty level is much higher than that. Oh, he sends that one wide and finally got something to come back and face up. That was a different kind of strike than the one he got in the second, but it was just as solid. And now I believe I am getting word about something that is very unusual. We'll hold off until Charlie bowls his 10th frame. This can't be right. Well, let's see. I've just been told that we have a withdrawal. That Logan is withdrawing. We have a forfeit. Now, I want to hold off here. It could be moot, depending on what Charlie does. Logan has a possible 176. Well, yes, Charlie, the best he can do now, since he didn't strike, is 172. So Logan could still win this game. But I've been told he's withdrawing. No reason given. Oh my goodness! Charlie whiffs the 4-pin. I told you no spare was a guarantee today, and that would mean that Logan just needs the first strike in the 10th. But yes, we're confirming it. He has withdrawn. It's a forfeit. Well, that's just the strangest thing I've ever seen. Charlie is moving on.
After years of research, the high-tech laboratories of Columbia 300 have created the most advanced urethane bowling ball ever made, the 100% urethane Columbia 300 U-Dot. The extraordinary U-Dot solves the inherent problems of lope and wobble. Its devastating pin power and superior lane control characteristics are unequaled. If you bowl to win, the Columbia 300 U-Dot is the ultimate weapon. It's like no ball ever made before. Sold only in lanes and pro shops.
I told you that matches between Charlie and Logan usually produce some kind of unusual occurrence. Well, you'd have to search all of Georgia to find anything more unusual than the ending to that last match as Logan forfeits to Charlie, probably not even realizing he was just 4 pins down, needing only a strike in the 10th and a few pins to eke out a win. But despite some scratching of heads, it's Charlie who's moving on to the next match. And did I mention something at the top of the show about how low scoring we expected the matches to be? That's a 159 and a 160 that have won our first 2 matches. You gotta believe that sooner or later, the scoring pace has gotta pick up. Well, little B, Brandon, was the higher seed, and he is elected to let Charlie start the match. Handshake, an indication that the warm-up balls are behind us, and Charlie will throw the first ball of the match on the left lane. Pretty good ball to start. In the pocket, he has opted to go with his polyester ball. This is his PBA Teen Masters ball, or at least that's the ball he threw on his first ball. Well, I think it was, maybe not. Pretty sure he'll be throwing that at the spare, though. I thought that's what he went with on his first ball, but maybe not. He uses it for spares, and he's gotten to the point now where he likes throwing that one instead of his urethane ball when the lanes get trashed. But now we get our first look of the day at Brandon, little B. Brandon put up a 186 his first game of qualifying, and that was good enough for second place. And although his score fell off a bit in the second game of qualifying, nobody else is putting up any numbers to challenge him, and he got second easily. See what he can do to these lanes. Well, that's how you get a strike on this stuff. You just put it right in the pocket, slap out the 10. Little B with a little straighter ball than most of the players in our field today. That might be the advantage that he has. He won't try to cover as many boards. Charlie knows all too well about what Brandon can do. They bowl league together. Look at this. A double to start the match, and right out of the gate, Brandon takes a 10-pin lead. Charlie was commenting a moment ago. He said, you can't sleep on Brandon. Here's a guy who was kind of out of it when we were bowling qualifying over at Brunswick Zone Austell on one of our Prodigy episodes, and then out of nowhere he puts a 279 up. Charlie just can't get that ball to push. He's got the right angle, it looks like. He sends it out to the right, but it gets about 25, 30 feet down the lane. It starts trying to make its way back. Hard to believe how burned up the heads are, given that it was plastic equipment that was being thrown on it earlier. There's a solid strike for Charlie. And now both players have a double, and this match is even again. Maybe we'll see the scoring pick up a little bit. You think? Be nice. Brandon, who has his grandfather with him today, visiting from Florida. This his last day in town before heading home. And I know Brandon would like to put on a show for him. His grandfather introduced him to this game. Oh, he pulled that, and it just ticks the head pin on the left side. He gets 8 out of it, though. Leaves a makeable spare, or about as makeable as spares can be on this condition. He loses a couple of pins in count, so he drops 2 pins behind Charlie, but it's early. He will play this down the right side of the lane. And a pretty straight ball, that, even though the ball he's throwing is not all that weak. In his warm-up balls, he was throwing something much stronger, and it hooked off the world. And so he put that away in favor of this ball when the match began. I think that was a wise choice. Now he'd like to get right back on the strike train here. Ooh, but that goes high. Gets away with it. Leaves the 6-10. Could have been worse. And he goes to the lower rack for his spare ball, I believe. Little B has a plastic ball that he throws at most right side spares. I believe it's a T-zone. Red, white, and blue. Patriotic ball. And he converts the 610. Well, let's see if we can see a little string of strikes. Haven't seen it yet today. Look at that ball. Hook. He gets away with it. A crossover. And he just kind of throws his hands up, going, I don't know. I don't know what to do. Well, there's that little girl on the left. She figured it out. Maybe that's what you need. About an 8 or 9 pound ball. Charlie's moved in. And he gets a good reaction there. And now, look at this, a 4-bagger. Wow. That's got to feel like a 9-bagger on most days. Has Charlie figured something out? Hard to say when one of those was a crossover. But when you can stack one on top of another, you take it. Brandon would like to get one here. And he does. And just like Charlie in the 4th frame, he gets one going away. You know what? There are no boxes on the score sheet for style points. It's not how, it's how many. I know guys in some of the leagues I've bowled that would be screaming bloody murder over this. Brandon backs off. Maybe the open play bowlers on our left and right disturbed him. I don't know. This isn't the Pro Tour. We aren't observing the double jump rule. Single lane courtesy is all you get. And when you're bowling open play, you may not get that. Wow. He pulled that right off his hand, but it never moved. I hesitate to say that he's left a simple spare. We've seen single pin spares miss today. We saw a 5-pin miss. That decided the first match. Brandon throws it a little straighter, though. Yep. The 3-pin is down. And now Charlie working on a 4-bagger. If he's finally found something, he might just run away and hide here. Oh, that one had no chance of striking. He just got a teeny sliver of the head pin. Watch this. The head pin will go to the wall to the left, and it comes back and goes between the 2 and the 4 and the 5 and takes them all out. If the 8 had been up, I'd have called that a bucket crumbler. But now he's got 5 in a row and a 34-pin lead. And he slaps out the 10-pin and gets 6 in a row. Well, we didn't think we were going to see anything like this based on what we saw early on and really throughout the day. Nobody has put a string together like this all day, either in qualifying or in any of our matches. And Brandon's back is to the wall. He's down 44. He's got to get striking. He gets another mixer from the Brooklyn side going away. How about that? Well, that may be the only way you can strike on that lane. Look at that. There's more than one way to skin a cat in this game. Today, though, the cat has been clawing right back. All right, Brandon, he needs to put another strike up right here, get a double. And he gets it. Well, it ain't pretty. Let's take a look at his footwork. A little crossover step, looks good. Ball right by his ankle, coming through. That one goes Brooklyn, but that's 10 down, and you say, thank you. And Charlie gets his string broken as that ball hooks through the nose, and he's got the 3-9. And the way opens have been plentiful today, you don't want to start making mistakes now. Oh, he was gesturing, waving that one up. He didn't think it was going to make it back to get out the 9-pin, but it did. So with that spare, Charlie maintains his 32-pin lead. Just 2 frames left. I can't believe my eyes. We're 8 frames into this game. Neither player has an open. Oh, yeah, there's another good one by Charlie, and he was waving that one up, too. Watch him. And he says, come on, come on, come on. He liked that one. Well, let's see here. Let's do the math. Brandon can get, he can get 246 if he strikes out. Charlie is going at a 248 pace. So this isn't over yet. But Brandon needs to strike. No, that one goes high. He gets 9 out of it. Now let's recalculate. 175, 195, 225 possible if he makes this and gets all 3 in the 10th. Well, it may be a little bit late now. He gets the spare, though. He can shoot 225. Charlie's already got 218 in the bag if he fouls on both shots in the 10th, which I don't think he'll do. Although we've seen some mighty strange things today, so I'm not going to predict anything at this point. Gotta have it. Nope. And that hands it to Charlie right there. The best Brandon can do now is 214. Charlie's got 218 already. So Charlie is going to go on to face Jake in the championship match. Well, you know, Brandon has faced Charlie in our stepladder on Prodigy a few times before. And in the past, it's always seemed like he was a little intimidated. He bowled well to get there and then kind of couldn't quite perform at the same level bowling against Charlie. And he admitted that it's hard to beat Charlie. Well, he's right. It is hard to beat Charlie. But he already beat Charlie in qualifying to get here. So he's capable of it, but just couldn't get it done today. But he sure didn't back down. A 213 would have won all our other matches today and would have beat everybody's high game in qualifying. So he bowled well. Charlie crosses over and leaves the 6, 9, 10, one that you don't see all that often. And if he can convert this spare, we're going to see a clean game by both players. And I surely wouldn't have expected that the way things were going. And that's what we get. How about that? So the scoring pace did pick up after all. And now can Charlie maintain it one more game? Strike for 248. That's a 246 and by far the high game of the day in this Prodigy event. It's going to be Charlie and Jake coming up right after this.
Now, bring the spirit of Prodigy Bowlers Tour to your bowling center with Prodigy Bowlers Tour t-shirts and sportswear, including collared shirts with the Prodigy logo printed on the back to show that you support junior bowling. Check out the entire assortment of Prodigy t-shirts in the Brownswick store. Visit PRODIGYBowlersTour.com to see the selection. See the ash gray Celebrating Junior Bowling, Elevating Junior Bowlers t-shirt, or the Who Will Win the Coveted Trophy Pin t-shirt. Or maybe you'd want the one that says, I've come to get my bowl on, right on the front of the shirt, or simply, Bowl Me. There's a t-shirt that says, Bowling. You probably don't get it because it's mainly for smart people. And if you're a proud parent with a junior bowler, we've got a t-shirt just for you. And how about this t-shirt? You're bowling an 8th grader. Prepare to meet defeat. Available in grades 1 through 9, most in both adult and kid sizes. And finally, the shirt that reads, Bowl better, have more fun, take lessons. Then maybe you can keep up with me. The Brownswick store is powered by the people at Cafe Press, and all of these shirts are available right now. Just go to PRODIGYBowlersTour.com and click on the link to be taken right to the store. PayPal and credit cards accepted. That's PRODIGYBowlersTour.com. Get your bowl on and bring the spirit of Prodigy Bowlers Tour to your house. Order now. Go to PRODIGYBowlersTour.com. That's PRODIGYBowlersTour.com.
Well, Brandon bowled well enough to win either of our first two matches, and his 213 was higher than any game posted in qualifying. But the lanes finally started yielding some strikes, and Charlie put 7 of them up on the board that game, which is more than he and Logan combined were able to muster in the previous match. So it's Charlie who advances to the championship match to face Jake, the only other player with a 200 game today. And he bowled it on this pair of lanes. Jake has elected to finish first, so it'll be Charlie who leads us off. And although Jake lives clear across the state in Augusta, these two know each other. Jake, one of the youngsters who bowls in the GYBT, so he's up here in the Atlanta area pretty much every month. Oh, look at this. Right in the heart. Charlie leaves the 4, 6, 7. Everybody's favorite split to start a game. Not. Just go for the count. Nine out. And an open to start. And before he ever throws his first pitch, Jake has an 11-pin lead. Now watch this youngster. He gets that swing right up over his head. He doesn't seem to have any problem with the lane conditions. He shot 204 his first game today in qualifying, which was the only 200 game in qualifying. And then he fell off a bit in the second, but it was enough. And that one drifts high, nearly crosses over, but he has the 610, broke up the split to get it too. Straight at it. And he gives it the fist pump. As soon as he throws it, he knew it was good. Charlie in the second. Boy, he thought he sent that one out plenty wide, but it breaks sharply back and actually crosses over, and he gets a Brooklyn strike. What to do? What to do? Just when he thought he had it figured out. I mean, you throw a six-bagger, you think you figured something out. Just can't keep that ball right. Another 610. How many 610s have we seen today? Boy, we've seen some strange leaves today. The 610, not really a strange one, but we saw the 289 in qualifying. Somebody left the 589. I kid you not. Charlie covers the spare. Boy, every shot an adventure on this condition. Now Jake on the right lane, up in the third. Sends it wide. And his ball doesn't overreact like Charlie's has been doing. So he finds the pocket, but just not enough finish on it to kick out the 10. So he will move left to go straight at the 10 pin. Throws his urethane ball. He's got a pitch black that he uses for his spares. And a 10-pin lead for Jake. Boy, and he steamrolls him with that one. Great ball. Let's take a look at his footwork. He's got that little backward step, a little like Pete Weber. Norm Duke does that too, and he just labeled the pocket. He liked that one. Oh, look at this. Charlie just did something I've never seen him do before. He lofted that ball 6 feet over the foul line. Watch this. Watch where he lays the ball down. That ball was airborne past the dots. You never see him do that. Charlie almost always lays it down right at the foul line or maybe a foot over it. Ooh! Wow. Good thing he used the big ball that time. Now watch this. This time he lays it down right at the foul line. That's his normal play. And this is the rest of that shot, and it almost hooked by the 9. But he just got a piece of it. That's why they paint him. That's what he's looking for right there. That's as solid a strike as we've seen all day. And he liked that one. All right, now Jake. Crossing over and gets a double. And now Jake's lead grows to 21. Not the prettiest strike he's ever thrown, but boy, it was well timed. And he gets another powerful strike right in the hole that time, and the lead grows to 31. Charlie working on a strike, needs one here. Just can't get that ball to stay right. You see Jake is throwing it out there and it's not overreacting. It's just sitting there. Charlie's just jumps right back to the left. Except when it doesn't, which is what makes this so confounding. 3-9. He gets him. But now as we get down to the last 4 frames, Charlie down by 31. His opponent working on a double. Charlie's got a spare up, so he's got no time to waste now. Oh man, that was almost an 8-10. He just tapped out the 10. He moved in a little bit, found the pocket, but this is the trouble they're having, getting that ball to face up on the back end with all the carry down. Spare for Charlie. But now Jake in a commanding position and a chance to run away and hide. But no, another 6-10. Boy, we got to be setting records here for 6-10s. Still a 30-pin lead. He's in solid shape as long as he stays clean. And that ball straight at it. Good spare shooter. I like his technique. He just comes right up the back of it. Doesn't put any turn on his spare shots. Good little player. That one's going left, and he leaves the 6-9. a little variation on the theme. One thing I would work with Jake on is try to lower his backswing a little bit. I think he loses some accuracy by swinging it so high. And he also gets his spine angle tipped way far forward. He will fall off balance to the right some, and that's because his center of gravity gets out in front of him with that spine angle tilted too far forward. Charlie through the nose again, and that extra pin action was not all that helpful, taking out the 6. The 3-6-10 is not an easy spare, but I think I'd rather have the 6 pin up than to shoot the 3-10. Goes straight at it, but he gets too much 3. And Charlie open in the 8th, and now he's really in trouble. All right, let's do the math. Charlie can still shoot 194. Jake going at a 2:15 pace. So Charlie's going to have to strike out and hope for a miracle. Well, he got the first strike anyway. But now Charlie's got to hope Jake has an out-of-body experience here. Well, he had an out-of-pocket experience anyway. That one nearly missed the head pin on the left, but he leaves a simple spare. Well, again, I shouldn't be calling any single pin spares simple today. We've seen several of them missed, although Jake hasn't missed one. Again, a little off balance at the line, but he covers the spare. And now here's the situation. Charlie can strike out for 194. Jake has 184 in hand right now if he falls over the foul line on his next 2 balls. He needs 6 pins on this ball to become the first non-Roswell bowler to win here at our bowling center. He knows he's got it. He knows he's got it. As soon as it came off his hand, he knew he had it. Watch this. Watch him turn around. As soon as he threw it, he knew that's good. That is winner, winner, chicken dinner. And Jake is the first non-Brunswick Zone Roswell player to win on Prodigy here at Brunswick Zone Roswell. We had youngster Zion won when we took the show on the road over to Brunswick Zone Austell, but until today, every winner here at Brunswick Zone Roswell had been one of our kids. And look at this, he's got all the shots today. That ball hits flat as a pancake, but he gets the action off the wall to knock out the 5, and Jake's going to be in the 220s. Good game. Well, we saw some pretty good scoring these last couple of games. The light shaker leaves the 7, so he gets a 223, and somebody is a happy camper. And Charlie says, you think you can just come in here and beat everybody here? Well, yeah, I think he can. He just did. And Charlie goes through the nose and leaves the 4-9. This is academic. He'll go ahead and give it a shot. Go through the motions anyway. Well, we saw just about everything today. We did see some pretty good scoring. In the last couple of games, we saw potentially Charlie got up in the 10th frame of that last game. He had a chance for 260. Didn't get it. 240's nothing to sneeze at. There's an open in the 10th, and it's going to be a 223 to 162 final score. But Charlie's bid to climb the ladder from the 3 position to win comes up just short. It's Jake who claims the championship today on Prodigy Bowlers Tour.
Little Jake needs to pick up the 10 pin to win the Junior League Championship.
So, that's another Prodigy in the books. 6 visitors from other bowling centers, including a couple from our sister house, AMF Woodstock, one from another sister house, Brunswick Zone Austell, one from nearby Stars and Strikes in Cumming, one from Junction Lanes in Noonan, Georgia, clear across town, about 30 miles south of the airport. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the Atlanta Metro, that's a good long haul, let me tell you. But the only visitor who made the stepladder today was the one who traveled the farthest, all the way from Augusta, on the other side of the state, and bowling out of another one of our sister houses, Brunswick National Lanes. And wouldn't you know it, he won this week's Prodigy Bowlers Tour event, going wire to wire. And for that, you'd think he'd win something. But no, all he gets is bragging rights. But somehow, I don't think he minds one bit. Let's talk to Jake, our winner.
So here's the deal. Nobody has ever come into our house and beaten our kids here. You're the first one to do it. How do you feel?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
And it was against Charlie, so it makes me feel even better.
Yeah, rather less than 220, 30.
Hey, you bowled great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
By the way, we have nothing for you.
Yes! I just wanted that. I wanted that so much.
You got bragging rights.